All right, we are live from the glorious no-tail motel that I've been put up in while I'm down here working. Welcome, everybody. Just wanted to go over some 2025 plans. I have hopefully a big year ahead of me. A lot of tournaments and a lot of travel I want to get to, and I'm going to go over some of those this evening. First of all, thank you for 2024. It was a good year for me, socially speaking. Didn't quite hit the 2,000 sub mark I was looking for in YouTube, but we'll get there eventually, and it's okay. We are we had a lot of plans for 2024 that got had to get scrapped because a pesky little hurricane blew through. So hopefully next year we can plan some longer, bigger road trips without any of that. But hey, yo, what's up, Maddie Javert? There's my boy Paul. Speaking of, Paul and I have a camping trip coming up, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So let's get going with the 2025 plans. I'm semi-professional. I have notes and schedules, so I have something to look at, and I have the old Lappy Top open so I can reference some other pictures and schedules. What I'm going to do is just kind of go month by month. Oh yeah, we definitely got a special Yankee guest. I'm kind of keeping that camping trip under wraps for now because I'm going to do something cool with that hopefully. So I think, yeah, like I said, I think what I'm going to do is go month by month. Maybe not take too long. Got coming up. I've got a fishing expo at the end of the month. That's going to be kind of the first thing I'm going to go do. I haven't decided if I'm going to do a video or go live. It's the East Tennessee Fishing Expo. I go every year. Love that show. It's one of my favorite shows to go to. The only downside, unlike the Bassmaster Classic Expo, there's not a lot of free stuff there. You're paying for all those baits, which a lot of independents go show your support, buy baits from them. So I don't mind stocking up for the year from those guys. But that's kind of first on our list is the Fishing Expo. Rolling into February is kind of when my tournament schedules start. I'm going to try to focus on one main trail in particular, which is the Queen City Trail. And I've decided to jump on with the Upstate Kayak Angler guys out of South Carolina. They're going to be the second trail that I'm going to focus most of my attention and energy on. And if I have time or if I'm not stretched too thin, I'm going to fish the Foothills Kayak Anglers. And then there's the Native No Limit tournaments. I'm going to try to do a couple of those. That's just going to depend on whether the schedules line up. Because I know, like, I really want to fish the Lake Gunnersville tournament, but that's on the same day as a QC tournament. And if I'm doing really well in QC, I'm going to be fishing QC in Raleigh instead of fishing in Alabama with the native people. So let's start with February. The first tournament I have coming up is right at February 1st. And I got to tell you, February is not my time. I'm not a cold weather fisherman. I'll do it. I don't care to go do it. I'm just not that good at it. It's not my strong suit. It's not my favorite. But at least I'm going to Lake Norman. February 1st for the Queen City, we're going to Lake Norman. And, I always do okay at Lake Norman. No matter the time of the year, I kind of know the lake all right. I'm not going to break down what I'm going to do or how I'm going to fish. I'm just going to kind of give y'all my schedule and what I'm going to do and the videos that I'm going to make around it. So February 1st, Queen City, we're going to Lake Norman. Later on into February, the 23rd, we're going to a lake with the Upstate Kayak Anglers that I know very well. We're going to Lake Cunningham. It's not a very big lake, but it's a very fun lake, and there's a lot of big fish in a lake that small. It's wild, but it's a fun lake. We're gonna do that. The only reason I'm probably not going to fish the Foothills guys in February is their tournament's on the 22nd, and the Upstate Kayak guys are fishing on the 23rd. So I'm not going to fish Lake Norman on the 22nd and then skip down to Lake Cunningham in South Carolina on the 23rd. That would put me out and about all weekend. So I'll probably skip the Lake Norman tournament for the Foothills guys. That's going to move us into March. March 1st for the QC guys, we'll be fishing on Lake Wylie. And that's another love-hate lake for me. Sometimes I do great, sometimes I don't. Moving on to March 9th for the Upstate Kayak. Moving on to March 9th, the Upstate Kayak Anglers, they are going to Lake Secession. Never been on the lake, never been there, don't know anything about it. Moving on into, the Foothills guy. Their March dates is a multi-lake. So it's on the 22nd. I would say that you can pick whatever lake you want to fish in that area. Yep. So moving on into April. One of my favorite times of year to fish. I love April. Just a really fun time of year for me. The QC guys are going to either Lake James, Lake Huey, Smith Mountain, or Lake Norman. I'm not going to go back to Lake Norman, but I am going to go to what I would consider one of my home lakes, which is Lake Huey. May not get the biggest fish, but I enjoy fishing there. April 19th, I'm going back to Lake Wylie, but this time we're going with the Upstate Kayak Fishing Anglers. And this is a joint tournament with Foothills. So this may be my first Foothills tournament of the year to fish with the Upstate guys. Now, let me get my notes pulled back up here. I got all kind of stuff going on. April 12th. April 12th is going to be my first chance to fish one of the Native No Limit tournaments. It's going to be on Lake Chickamauga. I've only been on that lake one time, and I'm actually kind of looking forward to fishing that. So April's going to be a super busy month because I'll probably be ramping up some road trips around April. And it looks like Lake Wylie, Lake Kiwi, and Lake Chickamauga. So that's 3 different weekends in April that I might be fishing a tournament. So, what's up? Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the live. We're just going over some stuff. All right, moving on into May. The QC guys are going to Lake Hartwell on May 17th. I like Lake Hartwell. That'll be one of those lakes where I pull the little mini camper and we spend the weekend on the lake. We have a piece of private property to stay on down there, and it's pretty fun. So we'll be pulling the camper for that one and doing a road trip. The Upstate guys are going to be going to Lake Robertson on the 25th. I've only been on that lake one time. That's kind of the neighbor lake to Lake Cunningham. So I don't really know how to fish that lake. I'm going to play that one by ear. But that is my plan for May. All right. Now, moving into June. For me, June, July just gets so hot that I wish they'd do some of these tournaments at night, to be honest with you, like a midnight tournament. But the Queen City guys, we are going on June 21st. This is the first tournament where I have a conflict. We're supposed to be in Raleigh on Jordan Falls or Harris Lake, which is kind of Paul's territory down there. But Lake Gunnersville is also on June 21st. And like I said, if I'm doing well for the QC guys, because that's one of the main trails I'm going to focus on as far as like getting points and making TOC. If I'm doing well, I'll be going to Raleigh that weekend. If I'm not doing that great, I'll be signing up for the Native No Limit tournament in Alabama. So, and as far as the Upstate guys, they are late in June on the 29th at Lake Cooley. I've heard a lot of good stuff about this lake. I have never been there, but the guys that I've talked to in the group have told me that is one of the best lakes to fish down there. And me and one of their guys are supposed to get up one weekend and go check it out. So I'm looking forward to that trip. All right, moving on. I'm trying not to make this live last all night because I'm just going through my tournament schedule now. I have other trips and stuff planned that I want to talk about while I'm in here. Yeah, quit blowing your horn at me. All right, we're June. Okay, we're up into July. All right, the QC guys, we're going on July 19th and 20th. It's a 2-day event, and it's the Catawba Clash, which means the Catawba chain of lakes are in play on that one, I believe, which is pretty. I enjoy that chain of lakes. I think I'll do okay there. Moving on over here to July on the upstate guys. I'm gonna murder the name of this lake, so I'm just gonna tell you it's Lake Johanna, something like that. Don't know anything about it. Can't a lot of the lakes that I'm gonna be fishing with the upstate kayak angler guys are gonna be smaller upstate South Carolina lakes, and I've only been on a handful of those, and so I'm actually really excited to get to fish a lot of new water. I mean, I may get my teeth kicked in, tournament fishing wise, but it's going to be really exciting to see some new water and fish with a bunch of new people. The Foothills guys, their tournament schedule is a little bit thinner than these others. The Carolina Classic will be in May for them. Up in July, they're doing let me go back to June. June, they're doing Lookout and Rohis and Hickory. I might go fish Rohis depending on how stretched thin I am that month. But June and July gets really hot, so I'm not 100% certain on that. All right, let's move into August. Like I said, I'm trying to get through this tournament schedules here. August for Queen City is a month-long tournament. All QC waters are open. If you're interested to know what those are, you can go to the QC Facebook page. You can figure out all the waters for the tournament for this year. The only tournament I fished in 2024 was a month-long charity tournament for QC, which I ended up finishing in 6th and got me one of those coveted emeralds, and I'm super excited about that. But it is a month-long tournament in August, and they ought to be some big numbers come in for that one, because if it's all month long, that means I can go fish at night. August 10th for the upstate guys is Lake Tougaloo. Like I said, another lake never heard of, never been to, but we'll do some research and we'll get that one figured out. August 9th for the Foothills guys, they're going to Mountain Island and Norman, which that might be pretty fun. I might jump in on that one. Moving into September, which the end of August into September and October are actually my favorite time to go fishing. So those are the ones that I'm looking forward to the most. September 6th, we're going to Lake Murray for the QC guys. I actually won my first tournament with Queen City on Lake Murray. I won a fish off to get into the TOC. 2000, 2001, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I've always done well on Murray. Even though I don't like Murray that well, I've always done okay on Murray. And to go there in September, I'm really interested to see what that's going to be like. The upstate guys, we're going to Lake Lyman on the 28th. So another lake I'm not sure with. But for the upstate guys in October, they're turning around on the 26th and going to Lake Murray. So I'm going to fish Lake Murray basically back-to-back months. So whatever I learn in September with the QC guys, I'm going to put that knowledge to use when I fish on the 26th of October. Speaking of October 4th will be the Yak and YOLO in for the QC guys. I guess it's the Yakin chain of lakes. I'm not 100% certain what lakes are going to be on for that one. Keeping in October for the QC guys, October 18th, 2 days after my birthday, they're doing the fish off. The fish off is how you get the final competitors for their TOC event, which is going to be in November on Santee Cooper. Now, anybody that's don't know about Santee Cooper or don't know about me and Santee Cooper, you can go back and watch my videos. Santee Cooper is my love-hate lake. I I've caught some of my biggest fish out there, but I've never put together a solid day on that lake. And I keep going back time and time again. But that will be one of those, if I make the TOC, Santee Cooper will be one of those road trip lakes where I will drag the Plywood Palace down to the state park and we'll stay all weekend and make a weekend of it. Super fun trip. Now that's one thing I like about Santee is there's a ton of places to stay, camp, things to do, and it's fun to just make a weekend out of with everybody hanging out. Rounding out the year in the upstate guys, November 16th, going to Saluda Lake. I haven't been on Saluda Lake since I was a teenager fishing with my uncle. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 lakes on the upstate kayak angler guys that I've never even seen. So like I said, really excited for that. Rounding out the foothill guys, October has the Reservoir Battle and TOC Lakes to be determined. There's no information on that right yet. Now the QC guys, other than the native stuff, they have some satellite events, and let me pull up that here. So the satellite events for QC are May 3rd and 4th, which is Lake Hickory, September 20 and 21st, Smith Mountain Lake in Virginia, and then October 11th and 12th, which is Lake Lanier in Georgia. I don't know which one of those events, if any, I'll be participating in. Now, the QC guys are doing a joint event with the Native No Limit on June 7th at Lake Norman. So we will see if that one makes the schedule. Right now, the main one I want to do is Lake Chickamauga. And like I said, if I'm not doing great, I want to go to Alabama and do Gunnersville. So that's probably the only national trail that I'm going to mess with. I'm not going to get into bass, and as everybody knows, Hobie's not doing a tournament this year, so we won't have to worry about doing Hobie. That is pretty much my tournament schedule in a nutshell. There is a ton of tournaments. I have a tournament or two almost every month, and when I'm not in the tournaments, what I want to do is get more into my travel content and my mini camper, what I call the Plywood Palace. I want to get in some nice longer road trips where I had a 2-week cross-country road trip planned last year that got canceled for hurricane. I want to try to get that back on this year, and I would really love to start planning that one for, I'd like to do it in September when it's cooled down a little bit out west, because the plan last year was to go, up towards like Ohio, and then go over all the way to Lake Tahoe in Nevada and California, and then come down and back through Colorado and all that. And that was going to be a 2-week road trip. We had it planned, had it financed, had it ready to go, and life happens and we just couldn't do it. So that kind of knocked me out of a lot of content. So I've actually been trying to, towards the end of this year, I've been kind of struggling to find content and make stuff up, because that's what I was going to use to carry me through the rest of the year. But we have, like Paul and Alex with Bass and Brews podcast, we're planning a camping trip with them in April, I think is what we said. And that's going to be a big event. That's going to be all weekend. That's going to be a real fun thing. I may make one more trip down to Florida for Universal stuff, but I seriously doubt it. Our passes run out in February, so I don't think that's going to happen. But there's the Project 50 stuff on my channel, where I take my boat and go to all 50 states and fish somewhere. That's still something I'm working on, and there's still enough states that I call low-hanging fruit that I could go to in a long weekend. So I'm going to work on some of those. The cross-country road trips are for me to knock off the out west states off of that list to try to hit all 50 states. And it's a little tougher for me, since I'm in North Carolina, it's a little tougher for me to get west of the Mississippi River in a long weekend. But there's still Louisiana I can do, Mississippi I can do. I haven't done South Carolina yet. I can probably go up to Delaware, maybe New Jersey. Uh, I haven't done Kentucky, so there's several of those that I can get into also. Let me see. Is there something else? You know what? With the tournament and some of my weekend trips I want to take, that's probably about all I have for right now. I want to thank everybody for being here. I appreciate everybody that has subscribed, that's following along. I'm really trying to make something out of this stuff other than just working the rest of my life. And I know I'm not going to make a living at fishing, but I can hopefully make content that people enjoy and help me make a living at it. And that's what I'm going to work towards a little bit harder this year. Last year was pretty tough on me. Personally, had a lot of stuff going on, family and stuff. So I didn't put a lot of focus and effort that I should have into my content creating. But 2025, hopefully, we'll be a little more solid with that and have a better game plan. And it kind of starts with my tournament schedules and my camping trips revolved around, us going to like all these lakes that I've never been to. So, with that being said, I think I'm going to wrap this live up. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody tuning in, everybody subscribing. Listen, I know I'm not the greatest content creator, but I am trying. I want to put out something that's worth watching, and I appreciate you guys. With TikTok getting banned, maybe I'll have an influx coming in from over on that side. But like I said, appreciate you guys. 2025 coming up, all Big Daddy. I sure hope so. I hope it's all Big Daddy D in 2025. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for tuning in. Anybody that watches this later, hit the subscribe button and follow along. And if you want to see me go somewhere in particular that I haven't mentioned, or a body of water that you'd like to see me check out in the Southeast somewhere, leave a message, leave a comment. I'm down to go try out national parks, state parks, different tourist traps. I'm down to travel anywhere on the weekend as long as I can afford it. So if there's a lake or an attraction that you want to see me go to, leave a comment. I'll go try it out. But until then, I appreciate you guys, but I'm going to get some rest because I'm in Tennessee working and I've got to work tomorrow. So we'll catch you guys later.